Okay, thank you, everyone. Hi, my name is Oakwalker. I am here with my best friend, Stronghorse, and we are Earth Medicine for the Soul. This is our in our podcast. This is our podcast, which talks about all things spiritual from our mutual shamanic um, alternate perspectives. We are two geezers who've grown up on a path of separate realities, and we are bringing all this information that we've garnered together into these interesting and heartfelt talks, according to our publicist. Um, we want to continue talking about spiritual morality today and integrity and things along that line because it was a really good topic when we started it. It's timely and it's going very well. So I'm going to kick this over to Frank, who's got that look in his eyes like he remembers what we were doing. And here we go. Thank you.
Hey, Oakwalker.
Hey,
Yeah, so I think morality, particularly for the younger kids, is going to become sort of a testing point, for them. I think
litmus
it's going to
test.
be, yeah, I think it's going to become something that is predominant in their world,
Hmm.
and uh, um, they've like all generations, they've all done a lot of experimenting. We all do a lot of experimenting.
Yeah.
Um, our curiosity is off the charts as a human being, and when we come here to this
Hmm.
planet, and we're like, man, what's this place?
Right.
Look, you can touch.
Like, dang.
Huh. Well, we can go all kinds of ways with that.
And I did.
I did. Thank you. So, I think so morality is going to become a big point of discussion and a point of testing. And so I think
Yeah,
the distinction between morality that's been used down through the generations by religious houses on a more of a weaponized basis to try to
yeah,
get people to conform, is really
yeah,
not going to be the tonic everybody's looking for. So, we wanted to get into spiritual morality because it's a whole different context. Primarily because it's a morality that is really between you, your spirit, and your soul. And let me differentiate what that's about. My teachings and I subscribe to this the way I was taught is that there are nine spirit personalities, and those nine spirit personalities comprise your soul. And each of those spirit personalities have different lifetimes. And, when you come in, before you come into the physical, these spirit personalities get together as a soul council and you go over what it is you've done, what you didn't do, what needs to be done, what is this collective of spirit beings looking for, what needs to be done. And so you get educated to that and you agree to it, and then you come down into the physical, and the task is to remember. The task is to remember what that was so that you write your script such that you live up to the agreement you made during that original soul council meeting.
uh-huh. My
And
tradition
so,
has stuff like that too.
that degree of morality is really keeping you on point. That's what it does. It kind of keeps you on point in terms of what it is. Because I was thinking about in our earlier podcast, and you were talking about integrity, and I can't remember what you were saying, but I remember thinking if you don't have integrity, it doesn't show up. You know,
It's got no
if you have
platform.
integrity, it shows up.
Yeah.
And so, I've had people come up to me after sweat lodges and go, "How did you do that? I mean, how do you do that?" And it had absolutely nothing to do with me trying to prove how powerful I was. It had everything to do with me holding the space for
Exactly.
everybody in there and allowing that spirit to work through me,
Hmm.
to then manifest in the lodge and then do what they needed to do with each individual within that lodge.
Hmm.
And that was always my approach. It's always my intention. I didn't I could care less what anybody thought about me, good or bad, because I wasn't there to prove anything.
Yeah.
And so that's my morality.
Hmm.
That's my integrity, and that's something that is just it's important to me and it's dear to me, and it had everything to do with whether I had any medicine or not. If I held that space, if I held my morality, if I was true to my morality, if I was true to my integrity, then I held a space, a medicine space.
Hmm.
And that's what people were wanting to see. That's what they were looking for. And so, it was it was a what's the word I'm thinking of? It was a dichotomy. It was like
Yeah.
the less I tried, the more it became powerful.
Uh-huh.
Because spirit was coming through me, or like Black Elk says, I just became a hollow bone, man. And I just let the
Yeah.
creator work through me, and whatever needed to be done got done, and
Yeah.
I wasn't attached to it. There was nothing about the outcome that I was married to. And, I used to run I mean, I was a heck of a swell lodge chief. And people would, just, I mean, one of my favorite stories, I ran a swell lodge for the, Robert Bly group, therapy group here in Austin, men's
Uh-huh.
group, and
Yeah.
it was about the absent father,
Hmm.
and I had a sweat lodge. I probably had 40 guys in there, and
Dang.
we got through. We were praying, and we got this second round, and somebody says, "Can I forgive my father for sexually abusing me?" And I said, "Well, sure." And he just unloaded, man. He started crying, and I'm pouring water, and then this guy over here says, I need to do that. And then this guy over here says, I need to do that. And it turned into a complete total healing session for sexual abuse of these men, which
Hmm.
which I never saw coming.
Hmm.
I was like, oh my God. You
And
know, I mean,
you just have
man,
to
I'm
let
pouring
that,
water.
right? You just have to let
Yeah,
that go.
exactly. And that wave swept through there, and all these guys got a healing. And after the sweat, they were coming up and they were hugging me and saying, "Oh God, thank you." And this is what I came here for. And, it was just really powerful. And I looked over, and there were these two therapist guys that had hired me. They were standing on the side, and their eyes were wide. He comes and goes, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I'm running a healing sweat." No, 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 no. He goes, "Thank you for coming. We'll be in touch. You need to leave now." I said, "Really? You're kicking me off the land?" He says, "Yeah." Wow. Yeah, they saw their paychecks going out the
Yeah.
window.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just thought,
That
wow,
that
that's
therapist paradigm that's going to have to go.
big time, man, big time. So anyway, is that kicking thing off for you in terms of morality?
It does a lot. Okay, so so your integrity is your platform, right? Without that
Right,
platform, you've really got nothing to build your spiritual journey on. And
right.
so, in order to have that platform, now you have to be working with an actual relationship. You need the ability to actually listen, that you can hear the tree, that you can hear, and that's interesting. I was just thinking about this. Uh, I don't know, last night or this morning while, before I woke up. And th I keep using that word listen, but really the animals, they talk to me in pictures. I really
Right.
get more pictures from the animals. And I was thinking, and I get more feelings from the plants, you know? And so they have different ways of communicating with us based on their position in the universe, or their essence, right? Um and if I had no integrity, I wouldn't be able to. even notice those things, right? Because
Right.
it's the integrity of being willing to get educated, being willing to change, being willing to be wrong, being willing to take in new information and change my mind, and allow that to to build something, an energy
I
base.
think I think that also look at it in terms of integrity is the key that opens the portal to knowing.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's like you're the higher the space, the more morality that you hold, the more integrity you hold, the more knowing wants to come and be a part of you
Hmm.
because it's got a place to resonate that is healthy, that is helpful, that is humorous and it's highly dependent on evolution and knowing is the essence of the creator wanting to evolve and see itself in the process of evolving, and the
Uh-huh.
only way to do that is through integrity and knowing.
Yeah. And
I mean just kind of to be simple about it, but
yeah,
it
and sticking with it too. Um, so
I'll
there's
tell you a
that.
really quick
Go, go, go.
I'll just tell you a really quick funny story. I was teaching one time, and you were talking about relating to animals and pictures, and I was doing question and answers, and this guy holds his hand up, and I go, yeah, and he goes, says, how do you talk to dogs? And I got real quiet for a minute, and I went, Georgia water, did you water water? And of course, everybody fell out, and I was like, but I corrected myself and I said, no, I said through pictures,
Hmm.
you don't have to say anything to the dog, man. You can just flash a picture at them,
Yeah.
you don't want to go there because you could have a problem and they'll,
Yeah.
I got it,
Uh-huh.
you know.
Yep. They understand everything I say because I'm picturing it when I say it. Um,
Right,
I've always So I'm kind of what they call clairsentient person, right? Some people see stuff a lot, some people hear stuff a lot. I feel stuff a lot. And so that's my go-to sense, if you will. My spiritual sense is that clairsentient, so that I can uh, feel a room, feel what another person might be feeling, and check in with them in that way. But that doesn't mean that pictures don't work, and that I still, it's just all together in there. And that thing about knowing is a sense of just you got it, right? You got it. And which takes us back to those poor people who are telling us that they just got a tremendous message that California is going to fall in the ocean next week. And they're really chasing something which is feelings without any other connection to any of the other reality that we're
right.
dealing with, right? They're just simply in this just projective mode going, oh, well, then and then it could, and then it might, and then you never know, and then okay, and so that's what's going to happen. And it's all kind of baseless, really. And I worry about those people because when people start telling me interesting pieces of information, I don't just believe them. There's a whole process that goes on before I get to the idea that I really feel like I've been given a message, or a piece of valid information, and it has to do with coming from more than one source, and it has to do with my intuition and how I feel about that, and all kinds of other things that move into that. Um,
So So let me ask you real quick for a second.
Uh-huh.
So was it the Tai Chi that helped you develop that feeling sense of perceiving?
Tai Chi is what opened up the physical portals in my body so that I could physically feel the
Hmm.
energy actually moving, right? And
Hmm.
that was to me, that was the, oh my God, there's energy moving here, you know? It's like
Right.
that is energy. It's like, whoa, wait. I thought they were just joking, you know? No, but
Right.
this is real, you know?
Right. Right.
And and it was indisputable because it was I was sweeping around like that, and then when I stopped my hand, the energy that swept out of my hand pulled it along further, like swinging a rope, you know. And when I felt that, I went, oh my God, there's a whole lot of me out there that's just energetic, that's still moving, that I'm still projecting out of me. And that was a big deal. That's where my electronic technician guy finally woke up and went, oh, holy cow, there are fields out here, electrical fields or some kind of field that I'm really having some influence over, right?
So
My
how did that impact your integrity and your morality?
well, if it was it forced me to consider ideas that heretofore I had considered to be stupid, nonsensical bullshit. Okay.
Hmm.
And so now I've got all these, and those were defensive postures, right? That was just, and I was enabling those defensive postures so that my friends wouldn't make fun of me, so that I wouldn't lose my place in the club, so that I wouldn't be ostracized for being a fool. And so I wouldn't even consider those ideas. And now here my whole defense structure is breaking down. Now I don't have the uh, the confidence in my defense mechanism anymore. Now I can see it as a defense mechanism as opposed to the ability to actually engage with the universe and the world as it is. And there you have it. Is engaging with the world as it is, regardless of what I thought it should be.
Perfect. That's absolutely perfect. That's a good hands-on teaching, because it's that's a practical way of demonstrating a technique that allows you to step into that,
Yeah.
I mean, and for me, because it moves so fast, I mean, I was everybody's born with a different level of gifts, I think, the
Susceptibility
way
also. Yeah.
yeah, and the way that they manifest those is different for everybody,
Yeah.
and I mean, for me, I mean, I ended up in a medicine wheel on my very first journey on a spiritual path out in Navajo reservation, and with a skinwalker flying around me, I mean, it was like my
Uh-huh.
first ceremony, I'm
Right.
like, you know, you know, and so I was moving really fast. I mean, really fast,
Well,
and
yeah.
then it flipped me like that. I mean, I went from somebody who was totally concerned with just making money and chasing women in clubs to, man, what is this?
Yeah.
What is this?
Oh my God, there's a
Wow.
whole different universe out there.
Oh, and there is, and universe being the key word,
Right.
like, oh, there is a universe and it's alive, man. And it's responding. It's responding to me.
Hmm.
How is that possible? I mean, it was when I look back on it, it was the ultimate example of how to use trust and innocence,
Nicely put.
because I was just like, this arrogant real estate broker sitting in the middle of a bunch of stones out in the middle of the desert going, what's going on? What now? What? I, I, I told tell Reggie, the girl that I use as a massage therapist all the time. When I see all these incredible paintings from the Louvre and these different churches in Europe and all these incredible scenes of angels and kings and all these things, and I'm thinking and all I can do is see myself in a painting of me standing on my front porch with a cup of coffee in my bathrobe going, now what?
Which is really
What?
the
What's
that's
next?
yep, that's the whole question, right? Now you're getting yourself out of the way. Now you're doing the here and now thing. Now you're engaged in things as they are, right?
And they come to you.
And they do.
And there's the magic.
Exactly. And it,
That's where the magic comes in.
hmm
And that's why the church got so down on magic because they didn't want people opening themselves up and receiving the blessings themselves.
yeah, they wanted to be the intermediary because that was power,
Exactly.
right? And so
Exactly.
and so here's their mistake, right? Because like Starhawk talks about, she says there's three kinds of power. There's power over, there's power with, and there's power from within. And the church went for power over and some limited form of power with others, right? But power from within, they didn't want you to have anything to do with that. They wanted to be completely in control. And that's where they made their big mistake. And that's when they lost their credibility, as far as I'm concerned, as soon as they went that
No, I
direction.
agree 100%. I mean, I was baptized in Methodist also, and I remember, I remember going to church, and the only thing I could think was, all these people are here for business.
Yeah, yeah, it
They
was
were here
it.
to get business
Uh-huh.
connections. That was it.
Right.
I mean, I
Yeah.
thought, oh, wow, this is weird. I mean, really
Uh-huh.
weird. It really turned me off. I thought,
Yeah.
God,
Then I went with the
it's like,
Southern
gee,
Baptists and they were all there for judgment.
I got to share this quick story with you. And the guy that sold me the ranch I got, was like had passed away and unexpectedly, and so I went. I wanted to go to his service. He's a really good guy. I really liked him, and he was a Baptist, and so I went to this Baptist church up in Lockhart, and it was really a nice service. People were getting up and they were sharing personal stories and talking about him, how great he was, and how he did this good thing and that good thing, and when all these people got finished sharing those stories, the pastor pastor got up, the Baptist pastor got up and started talking. He says, as we all know, when our Lord Jesus Christ comes back, all our families are going to jump up out of the graves and be with us again. And I
Yeah.
started looking around the church like, oh my God. And I thought, is everybody's head on this? They're gonna be looking around like, what are you saying? And they're like, yes, Lord, that's true.
That's why
And I
people are
thought,
terrified of dying without an arm.
oh my God. I remember, I remember thinking, oh my God, I'm in a crazy house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's
Anyway, I
all
kind of
that's
got off.
yeah, it's denominational. But so let me just in order because it is really true. There are a lot of beautiful Christians out there. I know quite a few of them. It's a valid path. Uh as far as redemption is concerned, it will get you connected with the Creator Spirit if you do it with humility. And it's not a purity test because I've got that here. I've failed every purity test and not just the Christian ones. I failed a whole lot of shamanic purity tests too, because as soon as people start doing that, oh, you what? You drank wine? You can't be a spiritual person if you drink wine, you know. You're
Really?
eating sugar. Oh my God, you don't tell me you ate meat. No, you're not spiritual at all. And I, I don't pass those because as soon as you put the one up there, I'm going to give me a glass of wine. You know,
No, I hear you, and there takes us back into about morality. I mean,
uh-huh.
it's a private issue. I remember
Yes.
it's a private issue, man. I mean, I remember the same. I went through the same thing with our very first trip with Swift here on the Southwest, and all these people from California started bitching at the people that were cooking the meals because they didn't like their energy in the kitchen. It's coming through to the food. And I kept thinking, God, what's going on, man? I mean, I'm like, uh, but
Yeah.
there's this. I think as a Melchizedek, I think our journey and our message is to, hey, just become your authentic self.
Yeah.
Just become your authentic self, and everything's going to show up.
Uh-huh.
It's going to show up for you.
And
Just be
what's
ready
unreal
for it.
is just
Just
going to fall off.
Yeah, it's the easiest. Well, I won't say it's easy, but it's a the work is simply to stay steady, expect the unexpected, and receive it when it shows up.
Uh-huh. And stay humble because you're not going to receive it if you're not.
No, you gotta hold a space because that's what knowing is looking for.
Yeah.
It's looking for a co-creator,
Uh-huh. An opening
you know, and
into a vessel.
and the only you can't co-create unless you meet someone who is on your same wavelength.
Yeah, that's right.
You can't co-create if they're trying to be a victim or if they're trying to be better than you. There's no
Hmm. We're going to have to close this. You just broke up. Our internet connection's going down again. And that was beautiful. And I think that that is a good opening for episode number 39. So you were just saying that, what was that again? You need to, can you hear me? Oh, I can't hear you now.
spirit exchange, huh?
Yeah, it has to be
Can
an
you hear me?
individual spiritual exchange. So I'm going to take a note of that and then we're going to close because we're both breaking up and are you seeing that?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
Mine says 10 minutes to go, but if you're breaking up, then yeah,
Yeah, we're going to have to get on out. So thank you everyone for paying attention to us for this far. We would like to encourage people who are interested in what we're doing to subscribe. We don't have any personal interest in trying to make a lot of profit off of this, but we are trying to put together some place out into the wilderness where we can have do retreats and have some kind of fifth dimensional experience with one another. So we'd like to get that set up and rolling. So, and we just want you to know that if you do subscribe, that that's what your money is going to be going to, and you're not going to be just helping two old geezers buy coffee. Um, and so thank you very much. Come and visit us on the web at earth-ems.org, and I'll try to keep you all posted as to how we're progressing on our dream vision. Thank you, everyone, and I'll see you on the flip side.